Now, Mayor of New Orleans.
So the mayor of New Orleans, she's been indicted. Indictment accuses New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell of fraud scheme using city funds for a personal relationship. Let me play this clip.
The alleged corruption, not their relationship, that led to today's indictment.
As Gabby Killett reports, they say corruption has crippled our community for years.
And today's indictment outlines a betrayal of that trust by Mayor Cantrell and Mr. Vappie.
FBI agent Jonathan Tapp investigated New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell and her former bodyguard, then senior police officer Jeffrey Vappie, for years. On Friday, Tapp stood with two colleagues from the FBI and acting U.S. Attorney Michael Simpson, proclaiming the investigation a duty to the city.
But the FBI is committed to the people of New Orleans and Louisiana to methodically address every element of an investigation. And that's exactly what we did here.
Simpson agreed with Tapp, saying he's not concerned with Cantrell and Vappie's personal relationship, but rather that he says they benefited from taxpayer money.
It's irrelevant that it's romance or that it's female. What is relevant is that it is an incredible breach of the public trust.
Despite Cantrell and Vappie's past frequent and vehement denials of a personal relationship, Simpson says the case against them is strong.
So I won't comment on specifically the evidence, but one thing I've learned as a federal prosecutor over a long time is that you really don't say anything unless you can back it up pretty definitively.
In the 18-count indictment, prosecutors say Vappie lied to federal agents and Cantrell lied to the grand jury. The feds also say Cantrell attempted to obscure and obstruct the investigation. In the past, Cantrell has said allegations against her were politically motivated.
I'd say that's a nice defense. That's a defense that you would use in court.
Cantrell's office says her attorney, Eddie Casting, is reviewing the indictment. Vappie's attorney, Harry Rosenberg, didn't answer a phone call request for comment. The U.S. Attorney's Office says the investigation into Vappie and Cantrell is ongoing.
The FBI has a duty and obligation to investigate and work with the U.S. Attorney's Office and our partners to hold individuals accountable who put their interests ahead of those they've sworn to serve. No one is above the law.
Gabby Killett, Fox 8, local.
You know what? I'm laughing because they hit the home run. The bases are loaded, and you got a good batter stepping up, and there's a chance he'll hit a home run with the bases loaded. Now, these people are innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, but they've charged them with the crucial crime that the feds very seldom fail to prove. And that is making a knowingly false statement to a federal agent or agency. Let me tell you how it works. I tell my clients, please don't say anything at all until I get there, or I can't come in there. Don't open your mouth. Take the Fifth Amendment. They'd try to explain it, and they would get 10, 12, 14, 15 counts, with the final count being making a knowingly false statement. I'd walk them on all of the counts except that last one, and they'd get busted. And you see, the feds are devious. They'll walk in the room, and even if you're sitting there, you got to grab your client. Oh, close your mouth. And here's what they'll do. We're here, sir, because we are investigating you for the crime of such and such. So they just laid out what they're there for. So they ask your client a question that seems innocuous, and your client says, I don't know anything about what you're talking about. I don't know anything you're talking about. What you talking about? I don't know. Well, they just explained it to him. So they play for the jury the tape of, you're here because we are investigating you for the following crime, And then you hear the tape of your client saying, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, he just got told. So they used that to bust him on making a knowingly false statement because they told him what he's there for. They trapped him into saying, I don't know what you want, or I don't know what this is all about. So they convict him of that one. And then when they get the sentencing guidelines and kick in, they can use all the rest of the stuff under a civil standard of proof in order to enhance whatever punishment the person would have otherwise gotten. So here we go loop-de-loop, and what else we're looking at is what's going on in New Orleans is what we're seeing in Atlanta, what we see in New York, what we see in Chicago, what we see in Los Angeles, where the Blues have the opportunity to make where they are great, but they F it up because they're too doggone greedy, stupid, or they feel that they are above it all.
Mhm.
And that's what you're running into. Baltimore's got these problems. You name the city and you run into the problems if certain interests run the city because they aren't the old representatives who had the decency to say, we are on the front line. We are the tip of the spear. We're trying to get this stuff together so everybody can have a just and equal opportunity to be an American. Now, these people don't care. They just want the gravy. They look at political office as a way to get wealthy themselves. And I'm not just talking about black folk. Look at Nancy Pelosi.
It's all of them. It's all politicians.
Not all, some of them.
Well,
and the
I say
ones that
majority.
run the agenda.
I say majority of the politicians. Majority. I can't say all, but the majority of politicians, at some point, if they may come in corrupt, but at some point they end up being corrupt.
There you go. They can't resist temptation.
Right. Yeah. Too much. I don't know if it's too much power, too much access, too much blackmail, too much deviance.
Extortion.
Yeah.
See, one thing, the way it works here, and I won't mention any names because some of them are old clients of mine or the current people or sons, daughters, or grandchildren of former clients. But they get into that rainbow thing and they do the 6B bit. That is unbuilt, drop britches, drop boxes, bend over, spread butt cheeks, get boy banged. And what winds up happening is now they are initiated in the club, but they're also subject to blackmail because they can't come out of the closet, so to speak. So that's held over their heads. And when you get into what they're up to, you inevitably find that to be the situation. Somebody has been deviant in their sexual activity or excessive in it, and they have bad histories that come out every now and then, whether you're talking about Willis and Wade in Atlanta or whether you're talking about what's going on elsewhere in the country. You find that people engage in schemes like Tish James, who prosecutes Trump civilly for inappropriate reporting to a bank and defrauding a bank that says we weren't defrauded. And then you find out she was doing the same thing and allegedly was listing her father as her spouse to secure loans she allegedly wasn't entitled to. So, I mean, it's just this big thing of a bunch of hypocrites that don't know any better because they've been raised as entitled, pampered poodle brats. They are not used to paying for the having consequences for what they do wrong. They can get away with anything, and under Obama, under Biden, Harris, they've been given a free pass by the use of prosecutorial discretion that exempts them from accountability. So now somebody else is in the saddle. You've got a new sheriff, and he's saying, ain't nobody getting away with this. And they hate him. They badmouth him at every chance. And the problem is that they've just been doing wrong, and it's like they've been taking penitentiary chances and not dealing with it. And speaking of penitentiary chances, I want to say this again. Section 8, Title 8, excuse me, Section 1324 of the United States Criminal Codes makes harboring federal fugitives a felony. Aiding, abetting, advising, counsel, procuring, inviting, giving comfort, assisting in evading apprehension, detention, prosecution, deportation of illegal aliens is a felony. And Mayor Bass has been engaging in it in Los Angeles. Governor Newsom in California has been engaging in it. Everywhere they set up a sanctuary city, when you read the code sections, it's in clear violation. They're not new laws. They've been on the books. They've been enforced over decades. And these ignorant somebodies who feel special think they have a free pass to violate these laws. And that is what is almost in place in Memphis here. They didn't quite get there. And they ought to be thankful they didn't take those steps that could open them up to all being prosecuted. We have had in Memphis's past, recent past, remote past, sting after sting. The last one was Tennessee Waltz, where they caught all of these local officials corruptly taking bribes under the table. We have had scandal after scandal. We've got a Board of Education situation right now, which is basically, except for two members, all black. And it is extraordinary what you see when you get into looking at what they've done relative to stealing taxpayers' money or misappropriating funds. It is so bad that the state is thinking of exercising extraordinary power and coming in and taking over the operation. It is so crapped out the way it is being run here. And I live here. Mm-hmm. We have had, let's see, in the last 6 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steakhouses I used to like to go to have closed down. 1, 2 barbecue places have closed down. Let's see, Houston's is closed up. We have no more TGI Fridays. We have no more family restaurants of any note. You can't find a nightclub to go to because they've all closed down. The streets are vacant at night because nobody wants to go out and deal with the crime. The women are scared to go to a gas station and pump gas. Nobody wants to walk next door to deal with the neighbors because of the crime. I live in the high rent district, and on the street right down the way from where I live, they had 4 shootings just a couple of weeks ago. A half mile down the roadway, they've had 5 or 6 people shot, one fatally just in the last 18 months. Crime is rampant in this place, and nobody knows what to do. And these idiots, I guess they're trying to diffuse or distract attention by saying, there is somebody else doing wrong, whether you're talking about New Orleans or whether you're talking about otherwise. And you notice she had to have her full-time bodyguard who is allegedly her lover, but that's not supposed to even be the issue. We don't care. They say who you deal with. It's did you take public money. And by the way, one little last thing, I want to badmouth this fool a little more. Mayor Urkel will not go any place in this town without 5 to 8 uniformed cops as his bodyguards because he's scared to go anywhere. The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen is I was in a restaurant bar, walking out. A former 5-term mayor was in there. I was in there, a TV celebrity and a retired criminal court judge. A former representative on the federal level was in there. We were just talking with each other, and here comes this clown walking in with 5 uniformed cops because he's scared to go where all these other people go because we represented the people. He doesn't. By a scam. Now, that's what we have.